I think that's the floor we have to set our standards to. First blood is the challenge to kill us an enemy in the first 13 seconds, and that time is gone. But Dosia does get an opening, and so does Legia alongside it. They're scaling into this A bomb site great with these entries, and around those smokes they can find nothing. Acor just down, dwindling down those numbers to just 3 players, and Acor's a real threat. He's even spamming Dosia through the cracks inside of the A bomb site, so Refresh will thrust into already down to a 4-on-5, and they are trapped over towards the long side of B. Don't have much presence elsewhere.
Cat with that FAMAS looking to try and pierce through the smoke. Is a boost coming up? Wrong side though. Cat playing in that alcove time after time. Dodging mollies, perfect positions. She may go unchecked again. Molly is designated to a different target, but Legia watching out for the angle, anticipating that peak was about to come into fruition. Loba up close to the MP9, has Letney to help him out as well. Gets aggressive through that smoke. Double spray down for Loba. Steals the AK in pieces out of there as well. Beautiful round from the captain. And he will come full circle with the last as well.
Had no hesitations in jumping through this smoke. And they might have anticipated Cat's position, but to make a play side, they were clustering up in 3s to take like a long control and really contest early areas. You can see the same prioritization even on the CT side. Acor changing his angles with that AWP because he found Victoria in rounds prior, peering down middle. Now looking for a bit more of an aggressive stance. We've also seen Henry doing a lot of that probing on the CT sides typically. See, they're holding for an eventual push, and they'd be right if they do find Acor. That would be significant. Oh, that was Kassad's chance. Had to hit him in the first couple bullets, but Acor spins around, and it's so a 4-on-5. And once again, it's a long B play that feels like it has to come through.
Yeah, there's no plan B at this stage. You have to just press forward and hope that you can run through the wall of CTs. Get out the sledgehammer. And so far, they're on the receiving end of the battering. Blunt force trauma to all of Dosia's teammates. And now he is the last man alive, but for how long? Well, not much longer at all. The tech.
I'm surprised somebody went for it at the end of that round, because things are going swimmingly so far. And we noted the fact that these ones might catch me with my knife out behind you.
Snake Yumi confirmed. Loba though, not going to be able to get knifed this time because hail of bullets that will put him to an early grave. But still holds the line for a kill. Significant damage to Legia as well. They haven't managed to spill out of drop just yet. HE's also tossed in, 2 of them in fact. Just dwindling away the hit point bar of Legia now down to 7. Acor in hot pursuit. We know he likes to get aggressive. They would have heard that, but Dosia is not fast enough. And Acor hits and runs. The bomb's been spilled out onto the rock, and it's just feeling like deja vu here, Yumi. It feels like more of the same.
Yeah, just trapped into the drop room as well. And while you could have tried to escape, Kassad's left to his own devices. A 1-on-4 now brought down to 3, and Kassad's making a hell of a meal of it. Couple kills, bomb dropped outside the connector from the doors, and right in front of that rock, they're giving him a lot of space. Henry and Letney once again trying to link up to find a successful retake, but given the amount of respect, Kassad can get a free plant here, and it's all about whether he can reposition afterwards or whether they'll even allow it. Oh. Another kill for Kassad. A 1-on-1 against Henry. And this is talent versus talent, but Kassad seems to have the edge. It's headshots galore.
Important moment. That could become the end of this game. Replay will show you the Kassad systematically shutting down one by one from the counter-terrorists. It's a bit of a missed opportunity. That being said, though, into round 7, Refresh has kicked things off with authority. Headshot delivered in, but Henry G up on the hay bales has already picked up one. Victoria is going to try and flick him. Takes some damage. Henry G back out again. Damage inflicted to multiple players, and a good wide swing from Loba.
Yeah, Dosia looked like he had the edge on that fight as well, and for him to lose out on that duel does bring things back to equal numbers. Wonder if that kicked a bit of fire into Henry's boots as well. Seemed like he wanted to really assert some control over towards that A side. Letney flying, Kassad none the wiser. This time Letney won't fall victim, and that's the bomb being dropped. Victoria does fight in front of her, but this 2-on-2 is going to be very difficult, re-navigating back into the holes to get that bomb.
do have time to play with at least, but the positioning does not favor the T's whatsoever, and he's seeing just why. Lepney at range with the AK, alleviating the AWP from the server, and now Legia. Flashes may afford him the luxury of picking up the bomb, but can he actually escape? He can. So there is a way forward now for Legia. We've seen one of the grizzled veterans of Cassard pick up a clutch earlier. Now it's the Germans' turn.
Nova's in hot pursuit, and I'm not sure that he has full inclination. Never mind. This gap, there's no safe havens. And nobody's trying to go up with the bomb. That's the main challenge for these past few rounds. Some great attempts. I'm surprised that Legia was even able to.
This is always the concern, though, for me, Yumi, when a team is so far behind, they get one round, but it's off the back of just an individual Herculean effort. It's not something that you can really grind out, round in, round out, but that is going to help. Victoria just holds W, gets the frag. There is a molly kill in amongst all of that chaos, and Henry G boosted up once again. We've seen him play this position against Nade King a few times. He's about to get peeked from the side, and Refresh with the Tech 9 goes in. Now it's down to Loba. Spray on point, and he will hold the line.
No, he's doing his damnedest and doing a great job so far.
Vacating the premises over on long side is Henry G after tossing in the early grenades. And Team Dosia picking up the pace. It is Refresh leading the charge. She hasn't had a great game so far. The pro on the server struggling a little bit, but you can never really count this man out. He has crazy mechanical skill. And he's already bypassed so many angles here. This could definitely catch them off guard, especially now that Henry's picked up one. Suddenly realizing that Refresh is in the grass and shows his head, snatches away 2 lives and opens up the site in the process.
Might be some love between Refresh and Acor's ex-teammates, but no love on that play, getting shot in the back. This 3-on-4 is very difficult, especially with the position that Refresh is holding in from. Letney cannot escape from heaven so easily. No trap behind smokes at the minute, so it's all about whether or not they can use the dispersal of that smoke to actually instigate this play or not. They've got a flank as well kind of established there from Lobo, but he's slow to activate, and Cat has got the first kill onto Victoria, so that may accelerate the pace here.
Refresh now hiding around the side. Cassard finishes off the weakened Letney. The other pro on the team, Victoria, did tag him through the double doors with the AWP, and Loba realizes his days are numbered. They'll keep him doubled up their rounds. They're on 2 now, but it's still a pretty big deficit against them. Very good round, though, from the day.
For some easier rounds, but it almost feels like they don't come because the money is good enough. This would be a great chance to do so, but Acor's already kicked off the affair. Small little one-way around that smoke, over the top of it. Extra elevation plays in dividends, and Loba had a one-way himself in a drop room, but nobody will come his direction. Cat boosted up, and the flashes are great, so Cat set up for a secondary kill. Loba snatched one out from under her, but Cat standing her ground fantastically, and a 1-on-5 for Dosia that ultimately nets him with 0.
Get back in the game, unless you can rectify that problem.
Acor being cheeky around the smoke. I think he might have been fallen victim to this last time they played, and he will not get the same level of success. I think it was Nade King that shot him in the back from that exact spot, same smoke. Acor's actually been losing quite a few of these opening fights, but it's often been compensated for by these quick rotates. I think this is another one of the problems is that Dosia are very heavily dominating themselves towards one area, and Henry had a chance for a couple kills, but took too long to kill Victoria, so trades come back, so man advantage still held, and Refresh will make it worse. 4-on-2, Cat does rotate into the action, and they're backing themselves away over towards that B side, especially with Cat being the player that gets the kill from Con. They're going to be very cognizant of the fact that B should be clear, but Loba's making his way back just in time. They should be able to get this plant down, though.
Oh, pre-firing the smoke. Very nicely done from Dosia there. Anticipating that Loba could get cheeky. Cat now going to be making the same play. Finds the first. Oh, you can see what she was going for. Means that the economy of the CTs is starting to feel the pressure now.
Yeah, you also see Team Dosia are out of the running for the playoffs or not. Maybe challenges will be actively pursued. Great kill from Loba, and has Acor at distance with an XM that gets nothing. Yeah, not the effective range for that kind of weapon, but does a whole lot of damage onto the receiving players.
This is not a great position for Loba's team to be in, with 2 players on long side. They're not sure. They don't have any eyes. This is where Matrix being removed from that connector position is really, really significant, because now they're both just stuck. They don't know if players are around the A bomb site or maybe in the con side of the bomb site itself. And this is valuable time they're going to have to eat up on this retreat if they want to. However, the problem here is because they've lost 2 out of 3 and now 3 out of 4 more than likely, their money is really dicey, so they actually can't afford to lose these guns. Thus, they're going to just pull back and save them. So Dosia and his teammates, they're starting to drag this one back. Slowly but surely, Yumi, they're getting back in this.
Yeah, I don't think Letney will have any nice things to say about how Kassad was baiting his teammate there for the trade. Letney and Kassad obviously working together previously on iNation. A lot of the Serbian talent has kind of come through that organization. That's how they all made a name for themselves. Kassad doing a great job so far in this game. We saw the 1v4 clutch he's had, but he's also been able to... God, Henry's in for a world of hurt if he sticks around. Yeah, you can see they recognize there's 3 players there and immediately backing off. Loba wants this kill so badly. Lakia wanted to just back away. He didn't want that smoke, but Loba made sure that he received it nonetheless. Got himself an AK as well, so a 5-on-4, and Henry gets boosted.
Honestly, love that initial aggression from Henry. When you have a really rough buy with just a few rifles now, but at the time it was 2 rifles and an MP9, you have to go looking for info. You know, you can't play the late game. You can't be looking for rotates or, you know, retakes. You're not going to have the utility or the kits for it. So go get aggressive. Look for that early information, try and adapt accordingly, and now they have every chance of taking this round and making it theirs. Refresh going through on the cannons, and he's lost his teammate. Bomb's been spilled as well. Here comes Henry. Oh, he has a whiff. He had Refresh dead to rights, and somehow they lose out on that trade.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Acor's just with a USP as well, so how much you're going to be able to rely on him is up to question. Cat's AK has to do most of the work, 40 seconds, and Dosia not ready for it. They're not even in great positions to trade that out, but they do eventually swing it, and Acor tried to take advantage. Or get an assist, maybe more accurate. Position 5, for those that don't play MOBAs, is the lowest resource position.
Ah, so it's a Dota 2 reference, I guess.
Yeah, it's like League and Dota. Probably
that makes a lot more sense. Oh, with not much weaponry, they have made it work. They've slowed this round down. Loba's definitely mixed it up with the aggression through mid. Now they're slowing it, getting that flank around the back, and it's...
Pistol round here for Dosia could be big in closing the gap nice and early to the Loba lead. Victoria backing off after seeing just the 1 player, but unsure about the numbers, and she'd be right. There's 4 around the corner.
She has fell back well, though, giving herself another security blanket here. So she can fall back again. Damage inflicted, she's on 6 HP, but she's wasted quite a bit of time. Allowed more players for the CTs to make a move over on this position and still alive up close. So Kassad can soak up the pressure, and then Victoria can just swing in, get a headshot or 2. This is a really well-played round for Victoria so far. The T's still have a minute left on the clock, but they've been thwarted. They've been pushed away here.
They can, and they probably should divert. Loba silent dropped all the way down. That's one of the changes that came through to this map, is that you can actually silent drop using those barrels and the way that you jump up. Loba's the one that's standing ground on this B bomb site that's completely open, and he gets 2 kills. Lagia finally getting a grasp back on B, but 3 players still are still running to meet him over on the site.
Lagia hiding in the chicken coop for the time being, though. Will he get dealt with? He needs to be plucked out. And Henry's the man for the job. Cat also gets a molly kill onto Victoria, who wasn't that low HP. And the Julies may...
Rounds is going to be a wanted one against Dosia to knife him and get 1,000. And depending on their prospects of whether they win this game or not, again, a teammate could insert it into shoulder blades. Nothing personal, kid. Kassad taking Henry duties and probing over towards the A side, but doesn't stick around after that smoke does fade. Kill for Victoria to kick things off, and this will whittle down the numbers. Team Loba are working at less effectiveness. Henry is holding and clearing for angles, but Kassad anticipating that and getting Letney as well. That is perfectly done by Kassad.
Yeah, it's exquisite. Using the angles perfectly. And maybe Heku was onto something, you know? He's one of those players that would have had a lot of reps on this map. And those little angles coming to help him out there. And Loba in real trouble. I mean, this is the full buy from Dosia, and so far it's been pretty much pristine. They are going to lose one player, but instantly Legia comes back with a frag onto Acorn, and they know where Cat is. So with 19 HP, she has to try and pull off something truly spectacular.
New challenges Fly Swatter to kill an enemy with a no-scope. We were noting the other day when we were watching an Inferno game that Team Onipixel seemed to have a lot of just no-scope. It's a big risk to take, unless you're feeling a little Kenny flowing through you. Or simple, perhaps. It's really good damage there from Dosia. 1 for 1, but dinked up Loba as well. There's not a lot of prospect going over towards the B side. They've given up that holes territory for so much of this round that retaking it will just chew off so much clock. So committing A has to be the play, feels like.
Concern is here, though, they've got one smoke between the three of them. And xantares has already shown us that he is very capable when it comes to this long control. Loba will get the return kill. That may not be good enough considering that he is down to 19 HP. So a lot of this heavy lifting will have to be in the arms of Letny, and he lets it slip through his grasp. It's Victoria that punishes him. And although Loba's bypassed the smoke and may be able to crack off another headshot, considering there are 3 adversaries still up against him with only 20 seconds on the clock, this is looking like it's a way too tall an order for him to try and pull off. And there's Victoria on the sweep.
And I wouldn't put it past that to be part of the discussion. You know, Team Loba are almost certainly through to the playoffs, just about where they sit and where they are in perspective to, say, Team Onipixel as well. It's a game that we'll have later on today, one that we won't be covering up. It took them a little bit to warm up into this game, but they've had a real resurgence, and you can see why. Plays like this are fantastic. Refresh, facilitated by the flash of Dosia, the double kill, but Loba's taking a lot of ground over towards A and can cut off rotates. Yeah, Victoria had no clue that that was going to happen, but Kassad's there to sweep up the early pickings. Loba tried to escape best he could and play positions, but Henry and Acor are left in the dust. They had no space on A.
Are we witnessing a collapse here? Is this Loba ship about to capsize entirely? Dosia really picking things up with his teammates. Refresh in particular, though, has had a real turn of fortune. He had a rough start to the game. Legia with an execution frag on Henry. Couldn't miss from that angle. And now it's down to Acor. 1-3. First body hits the deck. Jump peak. Spots the second. Frags out the second player, but it's a great cost to his HP bar. Down to 26 now, and no idea as to where Legia is. Was last spotted in mid. He has the right idea, but it could just come down to timing. Spots Legia, but the
timing on the potential reposition and was so fixated on the left side of the potential push from long. Just not to be. Legia found the right opportunity to strike, and this flanking play worked wonders. He could have even gone back through B. You know, there were multiple routing options going back to the Kassad 1v4, but some of these more clutch moments have certainly made the difference. But won't matter in the start of this round. Rebuying into it, AWP for Acor strikes true, and so a man advantage found just after Team Dosia heat up.
Yeah, it should be mentioned that even though Loba and the rest of his teammates have been under heavy duress, we've seen Acor still lighting up the scoreboard. Loba now puts a bullet into the head of Legia. May open up business on this long side. Refresh still here, though. He's found a bit of form. However, the timing may work against him. Spots Loba. Deals with him. Bit of preemptive spray, anticipating the T's would try and spill out into his face. And instead, it's a flashbang that forces him off the angle. Cat decides against aggression and just backs away.
Yeah, it's because Lenny's got all this room over on the A-bomb side. They over-rotated, so Team Dosia are going to be completely cut off. This advancement should be somewhat of an indicator for them to collapse on the A site, but Kassad should also be somewhat privy to the idea that someone could be forward-facing, but no, free kill for Letny instead, so coach v coach. Well, I say that, Kassad in the talent category, really, but 2-on-4, that's not going to be all too great. Ex-teammates just killing each other all over the place. You had Refresh and Acor going sort of blow for blow in that first half, and now Kassad and Letny. There is no love between old teammates. but a good way to stop Team Dosia from overtaking, where the momentum certainly felt like it had shifted into their favor. Sure, there were a couple anti-ecos thrust into those rounds, but to even have landed in this position where, especially with the impact Loba himself has had this game, I mean, plant that bomb on the A-bomb site. Yeah, great openings from both Acor and Loba, team captain and first pick in the pro player department.
Even above Refresh right now, who's found himself a 23rd kill. So Loba's been very, very impressive so far, but I think his team are going to need him to continue to deliver because this game is far too close for comfort. Early stages, a bit of flirtation over on long, but both parties decide to back away. Well-placed Molotov will keep the T's on the wrong side of drop as far as they're concerned.
Masterful move there from Lagia, getting up on top of drop after the Molotov fades, and Loba thinks it's all clear. Dosia will sweep up another kill. This is all falling to pieces. Just as soon as they take the lead right back, it looks like they might tie up again here, Team Dosia. Flash is good, Victoria blinded, and so the AWP does nothing, but the boost for Refresh is a great position to be in. Acor not going to be anticipating that with that AWP, but rerouting, oh my goodness, fast flick there from Acor. 1-on-3 now as bomb on back. He certainly has time to play around with, but that smoke is only going to give him so much coverage, and he's going to pluck out xantares as well. Dosia, all that experience, major win might just be coming to...
Again, why he is often the brains behind the operation. Good kill onto Loba, and then Acor, try as he may, is such a good attempt on 22 HP. Anticipated the push on platform, but we are tied up once again as Letney's about to get caught, jumping desperately, but there will be no reprieve. Acor couldn't save him.
Yeah, that's rough. He just boxed into a corner and actually couldn't jump that high. There was something blocking him. He kept hitting his head over and over, and death by concussion maybe, if it wasn't the bullets. B-play, it's going to be flash over, and Victoria once again blinded by it. Okay, so it's getting a little chaotic. Yeah, there's a TK in the mix there from Loba, and Acor does find a kill with the AWP, but Henry didn't know where...
The panic that was setting in. But yeah, at one point, Refresh was 2-6 in the first half on the T side.
Yeah.
And it was looking pretty grim for him. I said, even at the time, it was xantares really the only player, but he's really, really stepped tall. Victoria, a well-timed grenade and smoke is going to stop the T's from fully exploding out onto the B site. HE could do some serious damage to Henry as well, but just bounces a little bit too deep. Doesn't affect him.
Trying to get some information on the A play as well, but Loba are bursting out, and Refresh is ready for it. Doesn't get hit by any of these flashes, and was ready for the secondary fight, but no one's there to trade alongside him, so Refresh and Lagia have to stand tall.
In comes Cat though, smokes down, flashes to the top as well, over. Gonna affect these CTs. Refresh playing just around the outskirts of the statue. First kill in, and a second as well. The transfer onto the head of Henry was pristine, and now Letney may get one, but it's at cost of 40 HP. And more importantly than the hit points, his position is now compromised, and he's about to get found and sliced.
So Refresh finding a whole lot of impact, and again applying that pressure.
Still doing damage, and more importantly staying alive. Flash through, doesn't land in the angle they were hoping for, and Refresh is now here as well. Tosses down the smoke. This is going to allow him safe passage to try and get in amongst the action. HE toss from range, connects onto Cat, but I don't think they've seen Henry's made a move up there on the left-hand side. They may not be sure about this one. Molly goes in, they do. Refresh has Henry's number. Smoke down to extinguish. But Henry's playing on borrowed time, and that time is collected in full from Refresh again.
Acor, runs out of bullets on the spray and basically conceded his life. When the gun stops firing, you might have to give up. 1-on-4 here for Letney. I mean, if xantares did it, I mean, that's an ex-teammate. Surely you should be able to one-up him as well. Letney's had a great tournament so far from the coaching role. One of the many surprises. Definitely knows that xantares is close. Oh my, he just turned away. And
Here, Yumi, because if they win this game, they could still qualify. They could still end top 4. Yeah. Acor, though, will dispatch of Dosia and give the advantage to Team Loba.
Taking space is Acor, and the flashes are great. Lagia gets out, but he's blinded himself, so he can't see a damn thing. It's free pickings for Acor in the end, and another kill from Acor. He's taking this round in his own hands. 3 kills so far in the entry. Could happen on circumstance. That wood wall on the A site is definitely very permeable. And permeating the B bomb side is Loba once again. He is a master of the drop room, and nobody has information on this whatsoever. Lenny's trying to play sound cues, but Loba's crept out without making a single step, and it's more headshots. Acor took over last round. Now it's the team captain to try and take charge. Cat even dealing with the long aggression, but the bomb is situated outside of A instead.
And with Refresh taking a bit of mid control here, they can't even connect with each other without being spotted by the CTs. xantares is watching the rotation spot.
Uh-oh.
He's hearing footsteps. This round's not done just yet. Yes, it should still go the way of Loba, but there is a way forward here for Team Dosia. The downside is, though, that xantares has no idea. There's a player just to his left-hand side. He's being flanked in. He can hear footsteps. Murder Hole could very well live up to its name, and xantares is too slow on the draw. And so for all of this worth that Refresh's flank initially was paying out, I don't think he's going to be able to cash in the chips here. And considering their terrible economy, saving is probably a much better decision.
Yeah, and I think the quick decision as well. They were about to mid-round themselves back over to the B bomb site because of the success they had with all of those earlier kills, but I think someone sort of overturned that decision and had them just commit to an A side where they could flank out those players from Con. It's so difficult to defend that site when you're completely surrounded. Refresh will try his darndest to hold onto this rifle, but you can see they're hunting exactly for him. Dink onto Henry, but Cat will swing and one of their weapons would certainly be dispatched. See, Lenny is very conscious of the close angle that Dosia is holding, and he'll still swing out for it, doing significant damage, but had backup at distance. Henry was there to support and trade if needed.
Going to maintain the 3 plays, gambled over as a great placed Molotov will afford the luxury of taking Victoria down, and it seems like we are going to go the distance. Refresh and a Deagle, the last stand of defense over on the B side, not going to be able to deny the bomb plant. He's forced out into the open. The Deagle lands. There's 2 Deagles from Refresh and a 3rd as well. He's given xantares a chance.
Oh my goodness, that is perfect from Refresh. And yeah, the clutch man himself, 1-on-4 previously, needs a 1-on-2, but no kits on his way and has a mag 7 to try deal damage. Cat's up close, and Acor doesn't even let him get around that corner. I don't know if we have OTs or not. One player dipped out thinking that it might be business over, job's done, but a win in regulation challenges Ace Man as well, and we have certainly seen some chances at it. Loba and Acor taking charge in those last few rounds in regulation to make it as close a game as this. Let's see if all the gas and all that heat has been dispersed by the technical polls or not, or whether they'll continue into winning ways. Team Dosia won't want to let this lead slip and won't want to let this opportunity pass them by. Closest game they've had so far.
Definitely. I think you raise a really good point about how this technical issue has caused a little bit of a lull in the action. How have the players kept themselves warmed up? Have they managed to keep themselves focused? We're about to find out those answers. Good early utility, weakening a couple of T's, but Refresh has caught himself a stray bullet and finished off by Acor. The Victoria is there to make sure that Refresh's life is not in vain. And now the spray down onto Chicken Coop. Victoria claiming a 2nd kill will finally come to an abrupt end, but it's done so much damage in the process. Dosia catching Letney completely unawares, down into a 2-on-2, and now Cat on 24 HP. Has to try and bodyguard Henry G, who has gone in for the full-on plant. They're both hiding, though, around corners. Both have scope weapons. Dosia with the AUG. xantares with the sniper rifle. Out in the open, his Cat gets finished off, and now it's down to Henry. There's 1 kill. They know each other's position. HP favoring Henry. The spray's on point, as he will take...
That 2-on-2 played out perfectly. Henry never over-facing from the bomb side either, and this is all with the great efforts of Victoria in from Chicken Coop with that AWP. Felt like this round could have fallen into place here for Team Dosia, but nade timing is solid, but doesn't do that much damage. Heavily grouped our Team Loba towards bottom middle. It is crazy how contentious this game has been. See, those odds have shortened as well by 1xbet. They recognize that there's a real chance that Dosia could come into this and steal this win away.
Well, the push is imminent. Nades have been tossed out. Flash up and over from xantares, trying to stymie and stall that push. So many smokes to hide in, and Acor gets the better of Legia. Victoria now has to reposition up into the tower, and meanwhile, xantares putting that P250 up close to use. A low Cat, still alive. able to get the plant down. Victoria unable to connect any of the dots with the AWP, and is on the receiving end of Acors, leaving Refresh in a 1-on-3. The Refresh in the first and second half.
The sequential frags. 1-on-4 is way too difficult. Now Dosia will pick up the AWP and find the opening pick onto Acor, trying to take so much room down middle.
Yeah, it's so important that they don't get clean swept 3-0 in this OT. They need at least one round. Problem is, though, for both teams, their CT sides yielded a lot more results, especially for Dosia. They picked up 8 in a row in regulation. Victoria head-to-head with Loba in amongst the smoke. Doesn't realize it though and walks past him. Now they're gonna find each other again, but Victoria comes out ahead. Problem being that Cat was still there, had line of sight, and will make sure that the kill is returned fire on. Refresh now has a really good angle to use, but he gets swept in from Henry. Just spins around and removes his head.
Can't miss opportunities like that. Legia will try and sit behind the smoke and wait for it to fade. Flash around the corner as well. Legia actually blinded up by that flash. Smoke will fade soon enough. And Henry's none the wiser. They should be watching out for this on the high ground. But no, Letney lets his guard down, and so Henry suffers for it. 1-on-2 now presented for Letney after the trade. Gets the bomb on his back, and now finding the ISO duel onto Kassad. Escaping towards long. That's perfect. Dosia has no angle to cut him off, and may even anticipate that he's still boxing around the square. This is a long rotate, but you can see Dosia so courteous of the fact that he could reposition towards drop room and could have slipped his gaze, but instead Letney will reposition and take over this A bomb site. Dosia starting to think about that possibility. We'll actually cover the cross, but this gap in the box is not going to be covered this time over. The barrels, or rather the wheelbarrow, not going to have enough of a gap, and Dosia none the wiser. Letney's close.
Letney moving into that murder hole as well. Dosia surely going to die. He's got his back. Letney takes the head off. And they had a chance in that round, Yumi. They had a player advantage. Henry got one back onto Refresh. But at that stage, you think, right, Dosia, this is your moment to get around. And they've let it slip.
Yeah, I mean, really doing their best job to keep them contained, but, I mean, it would call back to some of that Refresh action. I mean, not being able to convert on that secondary kill, had he stayed alive, you could have seen Legia activate sooner as well. Considering how great a game Refresh has had, that is an...
Behind him either, so I do fear the worst for Team Dosia here. However, it's not done just yet. You're trained on the narrowest of angles, and Acor misses the shot. Not able to pluck one out. Letney, meanwhile, though, with his secondary AWP, has put his to use. And so the advantage does go in favor of the CTs.
I wonder if this could be the knockout blow. Flash in, Acor not blinded, and they almost line up for a collateral. Not even going to connect on either of them. Nade from Dosia is pretty solid. He's proficient with nades, one would expect, but not expecting a secondary player. Cat there for a quick trade, so still maintaining that man advantage is Team Loba.
Minute left on the clock as well, so there is time to relocate if they so should choose. Kassad mollying down onto the drop zone, trying to just make sure this is as clear and bereft of any enemies so they can at least try and focus their attention over on B side. But because they're making so much noise here and there's so much utility as well, Loba is making moves around the back and calling to the rest of his teammates that it has to be a platform hit. This should be the last play of this match. They faked out the shot, Letney misses, but it doesn't really matter because now Loba shows his hand as he snatches the life out of two of them. The last player will be Refreshed, but not...